It seems that the person at Netflix who is in charge for the creative direction for the Witcher series is getting massive blowback on Twitter. And it's even people like Angry Joe who are on board with the diversity agenda are giving criticism as well. First of all, let me elaborate. The whole thing, I am starting to fully believe that it is a marketing ploy. Like we've seen it so many times happening that there must be a marketing corporation that is hiding behind these decisions, and they're like, no, 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 this is good for business. You need to do it. And this decision is like you take a character that's white and male and you race or gender swap it. And when you do that, then any criticism that your product is getting, you can say it's just because of racism and sexism. And you can pressure Rotten Tomatoes into removing the I'm not interested in seeing button. You can pressure YouTube into changing their algorithm in order to protect your intellectual property. And you get like a mass of useful idiots that are just going to defend your product no matter what. And all you have to do is to just, change or race swap or gender swap a character here and there, and literally that's it. And you can have a mediocre movie that is pretty much shielded from criticism. So whenever I see like this diversity thing being shoehorned, and by the way, diversity is just a dog whistle for this business practice. I'm not interested in the movie because I know it's garbage. Like good movies that are actually good and they have a decent story, they don't do this. All right, like they may have diversity and they might have like all these other things, but it's not like the thing that's on the box. It's not the main focus on. So take Wonder Woman for example. They didn't focus on it's like, oh my god, we have the first female superhero and blah blah blah. No, they just put the movie, people watched it, it was good, and word of mouth caused more people to watch it. Meanwhile, compare this with female Ghostbusters or some shit. So the main issue with The Witcher is that the person in charge, which I believe her name is Lauren S. Hisrich. She said that she wants to stay true to the original material, and given the fact that there is some interesting casting choices, people are calling out on it, right? Like it's not just the fact that they decided to have like their creative freedom, but they lied to the people. They said, yeah, we're going to maintain this as accurate to the books as possible, and they lied. Now, first of all, I want to point out that the reason this is even being done as a show, the reason we even see Witcher Netflix is because of the video game. All right, let's cut the bullshit. The books existed for a lot of time, but it's only until the video game appeared, which was a huge commercial success that got people interested into the IP, that we actually get to see a Netflix adaptation. All right, so the overwhelming majority of people that are going to watch the Witcher aren't people who read the books, are people who played the video game. And when people are used to a medium, when they seen something, they want to see the representation as accurate to what they know as much as possible. It causes a dissonance into a person's brain when you basically just turn things around for the sake of turning them around, right? So people are pointing out how like the cosplay that people are doing with Triss Merigold is more accurate to the video game than the Netflix adaptation, right? And it's not only like about race and gender. It's also about costumes and the character's behavior. Like if you're a fanboy, right? What does a fanboy mean? Like a fanatic. That's what fan comes from. Someone that really likes the IP and is someone that's going to most likely spend money to purchase your T-shirts and to purchase your shit. They will want consistency all across the board. Like they get livid when Batman changes the suit, or when the Batmobile doesn't look exactly the same. Why do you think they'll not get upset if you just decide to take such a creative freedom in just making characters look completely different than what people are used to? And by the way, like you can legitimately have diversity in The Witcher and it could actually be cool. Like there are continents that aren't explored in the video game, and they got black people there. Like, it would be so interesting to have like one of these black people from the other continent coming in, and they have their own Witcher school, and they have like their own traditions and shit. Like that would legitimately make it interesting, and I would like to watch it. Or like they come in and they have their own magic and sorcery that is different than the one you find in Rivia. Like that would be great. Like that would actually be some good storytelling. But it's still like, this is just laziness. Like, most of the time, the characters just are simply the same. They're just casted as a different race for no apparent reason whatsoever. And like, don't give me the bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, this was the perfect actress. Like, they will never cast a white Blade or a Japanese Blade. They will never cast a white Black Panther, even though, like, in the universe, theoretically, it's possible. Like, anyone can drink the lotus flower and wear the Black Panther suit. They will never do this. Like, they will never come, oh yeah, like, this white guy really fits the role of Blade. And by the way, like, I wouldn't like it either. I'd be like, no, that's not Blade. Blade is black, right? What the fuck are you doing? But anyway, so Middle-Aged Gamer says, good trailer, looking like it could be very good. Cavill looks good in the role. When you're gonna dye Triss's hair, though, actress looks a good match face-wise, but will miss the bright red hair. LOL. How does this look like a good match face-wise is really beyond me. But people are basically like playing Minesweeper, because they can't just come out and say, look, why are you race swapping them? Like, what is the point? Like, how does it serve the story? Is it, like, do you honestly think we're that stupid not to notice it's a marketing decision by this point? But anyway, like, Lauren responds, good one. Triss's hair is described as chestnut in the book, a reddish brown. That's what we went with. Come on. People are pointing out the bullshit, right? Like, this is how the hair actually looks like. The thing is, the books aren't illustrated, so any drawings are the artist's own interpretation and creative license, the same as we are doing. Yeah, but in the books, Chris is also described as having blue eyes. Like, I guess maybe they're hoping that the author of the books will do a J.K. Rowling for them. If you're not aware, the author of Harry Potter, she wrote the books with mostly white characters, right? And very, very little LGBT action. And after she got surrounded by progressive people and went into progressive circles, she realized, oops, I as a white person should have checked my privilege and added more people of color in my work. So she retroactively, like, decided that some characters can be black or can be gay, like, things that don't happen in the books. She just posted on Twitter. And I think, this is what they're hoping for. They're hoping that the author of Witcher will say, oh no, Triss is definitely black. Like, no, that's really how I envisioned it. Would have been great if you'd also went with blue eyes, among other things. Seems like you only use the book excuse whenever it suits you. Fair enough. What I should have said is that we're looking for inspiration. We go to the books rather than the game. And again, like, this is not good business. Like, you are going to piss people off because most of them played the video game. Like, this is why people even talk about your stuff. But it's not only that, like, this is just an excuse because someone points out, and by the way, I made the video before, and I was wrong. I thought that these are the elves, right? Because apparently they're the dryads. Like, in what world would I have been even remotely able to figure out that these are the dryads is beyond me. So, people are pointing out that, yeah, like, the dryads in the books are green. They represent nature, and you blackified them. Why did you blackify the dryad? Like, what? And again, like, like, this is what pisses me off. You want diversity in The Witcher, fine. It would make it for such a compelling story. It would make it so interesting. If you would expand the universe by bringing actual cultures from that universe that aren't even described in the books, you could go completely wild. Like, you could have a different culture that interacts with Rivia, and they have, like, completely different magic system and completely different fighting styles and completely different ways of handling with monsters. Like this would have been an actual interesting thing that they could have gone with. Or they could have the main characters just travel to this continent, for whatever reason. Like maybe, one of the characters gets sick and they need to find the cure, and the cure is only available in this African region within the Witcher universe. And they're traveling there and they're interacting with the locals and stuff. Like, you could legitimately have diversity in this. And it would have been really interesting and fascinating. And a lot of Witcher fans would praise you for it. But instead, you cop it out. You cop it out by making, these black people are dryads. It's like, how, and what exactly does it even bring to the table other than, creating this useless controversy that doesn't even need to exist? But I guess maybe they believe, like, black is exotic, right? Because the dryads need to look exotic. Like, they need to look, like, out of this world. Like, there is nothing green about a woman, right? So it looks exotic. But so they're like, well, maybe the makeup effects to make someone green is too expensive. So we're just going to put black people in. Is it? Maybe this is what the directors went with. So here you have Angry Joe, right? And Angry Joe is going to get the biggest bitch slap that he ever got in his entire internet career. The Witcher showrunner says Netflix series will never adapt the video games even if it gets past all the book material. And he's like, weird flex, but okay. It's almost as if he's pretending the video games didn't popularize the franchise whatsoever. I don't really get it. So Angry Joe is making a very good, valid point here, right? Like, he's pointing out, it's like, how is this good from a business perspective, right? Like, if most of the people have interacted with this IP through the video game, and they have, like, an emotional attachment to the video game, why would you go out of your way to make sure you ignore the video game? Which, if I'm not mistaken, even the author of the book says the video games are canon, right? Like, it's not... But anyway, so this is how he gets bitch slapped. Immediately, he gets put into his place by the author going like, she, right? So he misgendered the Netflix adaptator. And he immediately is like, sorry about that, my mistake. I did hear about the bathtub scene, so hopefully we get a small bit of love. But now that I've got your attention, can I politely ask to change the look of the ballsack armor for season 2? In all seriousness, I can't wait for the show. Come on, Joe, you made a good point. Like, all she had to do was to post 3 letters at you, and all of a sudden you turn into the most rabid fanboy? What is with the ballsack armor? I don't even know. Since we've got all each other attention, it's funny for me that adapting the books has become code for hating the game. I love the game, I suck at playing them, admittedly, but I enjoyed the hell out of drinking beer and watching my friends play. Alright, I can empathize with this explanation. Like, this person wants to reinforce the stereotype that women play Candy Crush Saga and they don't play violent video games. Fair enough, fair enough. But if you watch the video game, like, you don't have to play them. You can watch them and you can still get part of the story, and you don't even need to play them to know how the characters look like. And it's not that, if you want to make a book adaptation, like, people will hate it. It's just, like, again, it's not good for business. Like, don't you want to have a high audience? Don't you want people to buy your shit? And I'm talking about, the action figures and the t-shirts and the coffee mugs and all of that. Hey, why not just give them what they know? Like, what they're already attached to that particular IP. They're already into it. Like, there are people doing cosplaying, right? Like, spending thousands of dollars to look like this, right? There are people willing to throw money at you. Why would you go out of your way to make sure that you're not pleasing these people who already are willing? Like, they have their wallets open. The money is willing to fly. All right, like, what? And you're like, no. The bottom line, CD Projekt Red recognized amazing source material in the books and chose to adapt it. I'm doing the exact same thing. I've sat with the team in Warsaw and we have mutual respect. Can't everyone arguing on our behalf get along too? Well, no, because you're lying to people. Like, already you're being disingenuous. You said you wouldn't do shit like this, and you're doing shit like this. Like, this is what pisses people off the most, Like, people expect that the Netflix adaptation is going to have the Down syndrome, right? And by Down, I mean that the comment sections are usually disabled. The series usually doesn't last for more than a couple of seasons. Like, I get that. Like, everyone was expecting it. If Netflix would do the Life of Hitler documentary, they would cast a black guy as Hitler, right? Like, It's going to happen at one point or another. But what I'm trying to explain here is that people already expected this, and you came out and you said you're not going to do it, right? Like you're going to be faithful to the adaptation, and then you're not. Of course, people are upset, and it's not like people are raging or like someone that cut your line at an intersection type of angry. There's no one likes being lied to. It's like why you do this? We just hide behind the finger and pretend you don't exist like that. Anyway, do let me know what you think, and looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section.